Hey, dude. So you really expect me to believe that you never podcasted or did any kind of radio before? Really? Come on. I'm not an idiot, dude.
Hey everybody, how we doing? This is Catching Up with Vince. I am Vince and I am speaking into a microphone. I have no idea why or what I'm doing or if anyone's going to listen, but here I am giving it a shot. So for the first episode, I wanted to make this more of an introduction to the show, who I am at this very moment. So my name is Vincent Galino. I'm 29 years old. I live at home with my parents still, which now I've come to realize is more of a blessing than a curse, but I'm on my way out. I have a few businesses that I've started. The first was called Try Vegan. I started that in 2015. It was a little idea I had for a vegan restaurant, and that kind of evolved into a vegan food truck because I realized at that moment I was 26, living at home. I wrote this whole elaborate business plan for this Try Vegan restaurant, and I realized I would need $250,000 to $500,000 of someone's money to invest in me to start this vegan restaurant. And back then, 2015, the vegan movement hadn't really started yet. So it was kind of like, where are you going to put that restaurant? Where are you going to put that restaurant? And there's a lot of self-doubt and questioning and all that. And it was like the universe kept echoing, food truck, food truck, food truck, my parents, my friends, all these people. So eventually I realized, I'm 26 years old, I live at home, I have enough money saved up where I can start my own food truck. So I figured, let me start a food truck. The way I went about that is I didn't spend, $50,000 or $100,000 on a truck because, first of all, I didn't have that kind of money. Second of all, I realized I'm handy enough, I could figure out how to build a food truck. I'll never forget how it all went down. It was the 5-borough bike tour in New York City, and my dad bikes all the time. He'll bike like 100 miles in a clip. The man's 60 years old. He's an incredible inspiration. But all that aside, he was at the 5-borough bike tour with our neighbors, and I asked our neighbor if he knew anyone who was selling trucks so that I can build them out and convert them into a food truck. Turned out he had 2 of them. He essentially gave them to me, and that's when I knew I had to start. So I quit my job. And all of summer 2015, I converted this old red shuttle bus into a food truck. And my first event was September 19th, and I was off to the races, And at that event, it was a Saturday event. I did $600 in sales, which, coming from a job, $600, that's like a good amount of money. You figure if you do that every once in a while, that's a business. You did it. So that fall, I kind of, did the food truck thing, figured it all out, and then the winter came and I didn't know what to do. So I decided to go out and get my real estate license, which is something I've always wanted to do. I actually tried to get my real estate license a few years earlier and failed the test and ended up working in retail again. This time I passed it my first try, became a real estate agent in Princeton, New Jersey, and I'll tell you what, man, I saw some of the most elaborate $8 million mansions, just beautiful, beautiful houses, and they were unoccupied. That was the craziest part. And that's what made me realize, as a society, we are truly in the age of decadence and decline. There is no need for anyone to have that much anything, ever. It's just too much. If you have that much, you should really give back to society and make it better. It's almost like a responsibility. From there, I came back spring 2016, and I didn't really know what I was doing. But January, there was an application I found to get into Governor's Ball. And if you don't know what Governor's Ball is a music festival with 80,000 people that come there. I think Kanye West was there that year. And I figured, you know what? Let me just take a shot in the dark. Let me apply to Governor's Ball. I know I just started this food truck. I've had 3 months of activity with it, last fall. You figure it's not until June I can figure out how to make a food truck work by then. Get the proper friends, get whoever I need, get the people, get the food, figure it out and go. Sure enough, that spring was the most stressful spring of my life. I had never felt such an intense stress. I wouldn't call it stress though. I would just call it an intense anticipation of the unknown. And I was just so distracted by it, I couldn't feel anything. I couldn't think about anything else. I couldn't focus on anything else. It was just, oh my God, how am I going to do this? How am I going to get through this? It was such a monumental task for someone who started a food truck and has no experience in the restaurant industry, no experience in cooking, no experience in anything really other than management. I was a retail manager from 21 years old until 24 years old. So I understand what it takes to run a crew, but this is just something completely different. Governor's Ball swings around. It's me and like 6 friends, and I don't know what's going to happen. But once we get there and we're in it, I just see this machine running. It's just us, and we're just doing it. And there's a line of like 50 people down this hill, and we're just cranking this food out. And it's just the most amazing feeling, seeing this operation that I put together. It was like a dream come true, and it happened less than a year after I started this truck. I never thought I would be in a Governor's Ball or a music festival. I thought if I could ever do one in the next 3 years, I would be beyond ecstatic for that. Turns out, in less than a year, I'm already there. From there, being involved with this vending coordinator, I got into Governor's Ball, then the Meadows, then Made in America. I did like 7 music festivals that first year. It was just the most incredible ride. It was difficult to accept that much of a blessing, you know? And all that while, I'm still climbing up the hill of people not believing in me, not believing in it. You should change the name. Try vegan is stupid. You know, you're gonna alienate your customers. You don't want to call it vegan, this, that, and the other thing. So when you're starting something new, people don't understand it. They doubt. And that doubt might creep in, but you can't let that doubt creep in, or else you won't be where you are, where you're meant to be. So that summer was amazing. That summer was so amazing. Music festivals with friends, you know, making all kinds of money, realizing that I can do it. I couldn't truly appreciate it because I was still so nervous for every single event I did. So that brings us to the winter of 2016. Winter of 2016, I went to Thailand with my friend Aaron for a month. And Thailand was just this amazing, amazing place. It was like instant manifestation. I'll never forget the 2 of us were at a beach. I think I mentioned that I was hungry. And someone walked through with fruit for sale. And then I said, I need something to sit on. Boom, blankets. So after spending a month in Thailand, came back to America, ready to go, ready to start 2017. And 2017 was just this unbelievable ride. So I get back, and my friend had been collecting pieces for a screen printing company, because me and him wanted to start a screen printing company. So while I was out there, he was just pages of Craigslist. And before you know it, he essentially manifested a place for us to start this screen printing company along with all the pieces that we needed. So I get back and boom, screen printing company. So I go from having 1 truck to a screen printing company, which would be utilized for me to create my own Try Vegan line of clothing. That was the whole reason I wanted a screen printing operation, is because I wanted to print my own clothes for cheap. So, like I said, we went out and bought all the pieces. From there, taught myself how to screen print and started a screen printing company. And when I say started a screen printing company, what I mean is I am a human being who has a press. It's not like I started this extravagant, oh my God, screen printing company. Are you like online? Are you this? Are you that? It was kind of more like, all right, you need a shirt printed. I can provide you the service. Here you go. So I formed the LLC, and right now, Unity Printing, if you guys ever need screen printing done. So I spent the winter into the spring perfecting that craft, which is very difficult. You know, I had to teach myself Illustrator to design these shirts. I had to teach myself the screen printing process, all the intricacies and nuances of screen printing. So then the spring started. It was festival season again with the food truck. And this year, 2017, was the biggest breakout year of my life. The season started, you know, it was boom, Governor's Ball, we get there. This is the biggest thing I had done a year before. 3-day festival, a line going the whole time. This thing is running like a well-oiled machine. I was able to walk out of the truck, watch the thing just move, watch this creation that I put together in my parents' driveway. The truck has a did you know sign and facts about veganism. And little statistics and things like that just pop in your head because you're not expecting to see it. So when you see something that you're not expecting to see, it sticks with you. So you figure all these people walking by that truck are just reading one, even if it's one fact that sticks in their head, that's a change. I swear we must have done like a dozen music festivals last year. I'm talking The Meadows, Made in America, Moonrise, Mysteryland. We did a week-long festival, 10-day festival in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. So the year is going, we have all these music festivals lined up, and I realize I should get a second truck going. So just like 2 years earlier, I spent most of that summer putting together my second food truck. So by August, I want to say 8th, I had my second truck up and running. Mind you, there was a 10-day festival in Pennsylvania that one truck was at. While my first event with 2 trucks, I was going to have one in Pennsylvania for Music Fest, a 10-day music festival. I also had to get the second food truck down to Baltimore for Moonrise Music Festival. And the second truck wasn't even done yet. The second truck was at the mechanic still. So I had to go home from Pennsylvania, get that truck, pick it up from the mechanic, put the finishing touches on building the food truck, get it down to Baltimore, from New Jersey by the way, and do Moonrise Music Festival, which again was the biggest festival I had done up to that point a year earlier. These things have just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. So sure enough, I have a truck in Pennsylvania, I have a truck in Baltimore, and I am looking at the base stage in the window of my truck. And there I am on the roof of a truck that I built in my parents' driveway at Moonrise Festival. You have Zomboy, you have Riot 10, you have Ricky X San, and they're literally right in front of me performing this show. And I just cannot believe where my life had gotten me to. You know, I used to be a retail manager. I used to be stuck in a store from 3 p.m. to 12 a.m. every single night. Except for Tuesdays, which was my one day off a week. And I never thought I would be able to be free again, let alone feel this good. You know, instead I'm out there dealing with nonsense, really. You know, people arguing over the price of eggs. I just can't believe where I am in life. You know, I just give so much gratitude for every moment that I feel like that. So from there, I have 2 vegan food trucks. I have a clothing line, and that is my brand. So the fall comes around, and the fall was even crazier than the summer, because in the fall, I got into this music festival in Georgia called Imagine Music Festival. Now, most of the time when you're a food vendor at these large-scale festivals, the reason why the prices are so high is because they charge anywhere from 35 to 40% to the vendors. So that doesn't leave a lot of money to the food truck owner. You know, you figure as the owner, it costs me 35%. Food costs off the bat, they can go upwards of $3,000-$4,000. Then you got to pay for labor. And when I'm doing events in Philly or New York, my crew are my friends, but I do want to put us up in a nice hotel. And those have stayed with us. Unfortunately, I don't usually get a nice hotel because I have to save money somewhere. So 35% doesn't leave you with much. And it's a big risk because you might not make the money back. You don't always make money when you do business. You can lose money. I have. But I try to keep my costs low so this way I can pass on the savings to you guys because it's just me running it. So I get an email about this music festival in Georgia where they're going to charge me $200 for a 3-day festival. And that's when I realized I got to figure out how to get my truck and a few people down to Georgia. I assemble a team to get down to Georgia and work this music festival. So a little bit about the food truck environment. Most people won't even travel from New York to Philadelphia or from Philadelphia to New York, which is a 2-hour ride to do these festivals. Living in central New Jersey, I have the PA market and I have the New York market and the New Jersey market. In 2015 and 16, there were no other food trucks. It was just me as far as vegan food truck goes. 2017, there are about 7 of them now. It's crazy. This thing is exploding. Get down to Georgia, crush it. I go back up north. I hear that I got into Electric Daisy Carnival Orlando. It's funny because a year earlier, me and my friend Nick had planned, we didn't even plan, we took a road trip down there. It started on a Friday. We had the idea to go on Thursday. Drove down, went Friday. And for some reason, when we were down there, Nick told me I was going to be there with the truck next year. I said, you're a crazy person. How can I drive my giant food truck down to Florida and do EDC Orlando? Doesn't even make sense. Now, when I was 22, 23, I would pay money to go to these music festivals, and they were just what I would look forward to for months. Now, all of a sudden, I have this food truck that has essentially become a golden ticket to get into all these music festivals and get paid to go. When I used to go to these music festivals as a vegan, there was nothing for me to eat. Fries. And you can't eat fries when you're at a rave. What you need is fruit and nutrients. So there I am providing exactly what I needed back then to people like me. And these people that come up to the truck, they're so grateful that I exist. It's not like I'm just providing a burger, like, oh, thank God you have a burger. Thank God you have some pizza. It's like, oh my God, thank God I can eat. To be able to create something that people need and want that bad. It's really a blessing. So this winter comes around, winter 2017 into 2018. I'm just completely, not stuck, but it's like I had writer's block. You know, it's like I got here. Vincent Galino used to be a retail manager who quit his job and got to the point where he has 2 food trucks and a clothing line. Now what? That's exactly where I wanted to be when I quit my job. And that was kind of the end game for where I was going. You know, I didn't know where I was going to go from there. I just know when I started, I wanted to have 2 trucks, clothing. So I'm kind of floating around, not knowing what to do. The food truck season's over. It's the winter in the Northeast, so it's just going to be snow and cold, and it's not even going to be worth for me to go out. I'm not going to go out for $100 and just freeze my ass off, buy all this food, do all this work. It's just not worth it. I decided to start another company. So the whole year, I had an idea for an aeroponics company. For those of you who aren't familiar with aeroponics, it is essentially hydroponics, but the seed is suspended in the air rather than in the water. It uses 95% less water. You can grow it inside of a warehouse. It's super sustainable, yada, yada, yada. And that's the direction I want to head in my life. Help start more sustainable businesses and just help, whatever, whoever. So it's the same way the universe was echoing food truck when I was mentioning restaurant. The universe was echoing microgreens as I was saying aeroponics. Microgreens are much simpler. What a microgreen is, it's essentially a sprout. And the sprout can be harvested in 7 days. So you have a 7-day harvest time. And pound for pound, these things are 4 to 100 times more nutritious than their fully grown counterpart. So if you grow micro asparagus, micro Brussels sprouts, micro whatever, that sprout is going to have 4 to 100 times more nutrients than its fully grown counterpart, which is why you see a lot of people putting it in their smoothies, but not enough. Not enough people are talking about this, and not enough people know about this. And I want to help be the outlet to spread the awareness of how beneficial microgreens are to our bodies. They're so simple. You can eat them instead of your greens. You can put them in your smoothies, and you have all these nutrients that your body needs. So I was thinking I want a company that grows sustainable produce, whether it's microgreens first and then grows into the aeroponic company. So I decided to call it Forever Farms. This way it's a farm that can go on forever. I want it to be self-sustaining. I want it to be able to be dropped off and replicated anywhere in the world. I want food deserts to have food. I want to just create this way that people can grow food sustainably and not have to worry about it. Because there are too many people on this planet right now that just don't even have food. And if they can have the most nutritious food available to them without doing very much work, that's a change. So I'm having these meetings with my business partner for this microgreen company, and he hits me with this idea. Yo, man, me and 4 of my friends, we want you to make food for us, like a meal prep service. He said, yeah, we'll pay you $30, each, this, that, and the other thing. And I was like, wow, $30. I can make some money here. So from there, he kind of inspired me to start a meal prep delivery service. So from one growth, which was this microgreen company, came the cure to my writer's block for the company that is Try Vegan. Because from there, I decided meal prep, that's where I'm heading. So before you begin any endeavor, you research and you figure things out. Is this possible? Is there a need for it? Is there a demand for it? Is it next? Boom, 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 boom. Of course, this is all what's next. People are coming up to the truck saying, oh, I wish I could be vegan. I just don't know what to eat. I just wish it was more convenient. I just wish that. I just wish this. I just wish that. Guess what? I make you the food. I drop it off at your house. You're happy. I'm happy. We're all healthy. Done. And that I also want to have drop-off points, which are gyms. So this way you're inspired to go to the gym, pick up your food. The gym is happy because you're attending, and you're happy because you're working out. So I decided to start researching the meal prep places by me. I know there's not a vegan one. They don't exist yet. So I look at the biggest competition. But what I noticed is you have to go on their website and there's like drop-down menus, and it feels like you're using Windows Vista to make your food choices for this week. But it's clumsy and outdated and all this other stuff. So I realized the way to go is definitely an app. Get people to download it on their phone. This way they know about the Try Vegan company. Post where my food truck is. I can post different meal recipes. I can post this. I can post that. So I put out an ad on Instagram saying I need an app developer. So I get like 25 messages from people from India. And hey, I hear you need this. I'm like, how did you even find out who I am? So from there, I got an email from one guy saying, my name is Frank Sasso. I have a friend who's a vegan who reached out to me, says we should talk. So I really like this guy. I click on his website, www.franksasso.com, and I see that he has a drawing of Stimpy from Ren and Stimpy on his website. And then I also see something about Beauty and the Beast, and I'm reading, and this guy was the animator for Stimpy on the show Ren and Stimpy. And mind you, this is my favorite show growing up. I have the Ren and Stimpy video game for Sega. Whenever I had a sleepover, me and my friend would just eat candy all night and play the Ren and Stimpy video game for Sega. And now I have the opportunity to talk to this guy about developing an app for me. So we schedule a meeting, and he even shows up with a signed cell of Stimpy. So from there we get talking. I think we must have just talked for a good 2 hours. But one of the things he said was, you need a podcast. He has his own podcast, New Pod City, and Who's Your Daddy Godcast. So definitely check him out. He knows what he's doing. Frank has this show, New Pod City, where he helps other people start their own podcasts, which is perfect. So here I am, starting my podcast. Like I said, I called it Catching Up with Vince. And basically what I want for this show is I want to just be able to talk to people about how they got to where they are and where they're going from here. Whether that is an entrepreneur, someone owning a vegan restaurant, someone who cured their own health problems with their diet, celebrities, different personalities that you may know, you may not know, my friends, people that I've come across on my journey through working the overnight shift at Walmart. There are so many people with so many interesting stories that we just don't even appreciate. And I want this to be a medium for people to explain how they got to where they are. Because I think that is one of the most fascinating things, is just learning about other people and how they achieve their levels of success. What I really want to make this almost an autobiography. You come in, you tell me who you are, what you've done, what it was like getting there, different trials and tribulations you had to go through. And I really want to help motivate and inspire other people to realize that it's possible. It is possible. Whatever we think we can do. I never thought I'd have a podcast or this app. When I started Try Vegan, sure, I had the goal and the vision to get to 2 trucks and clothing, but in my wildest dream, I couldn't actually imagine it being real. And here I am. And I want to show people that you can do it too. And I want to use other people to help me show you that you can do it too. We're put on this planet to accomplish more than they tell us we can. We're more powerful than they allow us to believe. We're here to experience whatever we want to experience. If we believe that we're supposed to experience pain and heartbreak, the all-powerful is powerful enough to allow you to experience that pain and heartbreak. If we focus our intent towards doing good and experiencing everything we want to experience, one day you'll end up exactly where you're supposed to be. Exactly where you never believed was possible. There are multiple times where I have stood in a crowd at a music festival crying tears of joy because I could not believe that I have this life. And I want everyone to understand that it is possible to live this life. Back before I was this person, I was not a happy person. I was a very smart person in a very bad place. And that brain just loops in a negative cycle. That brain just keeps perpetuating thoughts of negativity. And I see it in people I know. You just feel so defeated. And there's no pulling you out of that. And all your thoughts just manifest more negativity. The more thanks and the more gratitude you give, the more you will be thankful for and the more gratitude you will have. So yeah, this show is going to be more than just interviewing people. It's also going to be little insights that I have just going through this journey. Because I realize there are a lot of people who have done this, but they're not accessible. Throughout my success from this moment, I want to be accessible to those of you who are also starting your journey. I aspire to make connections through this podcast with people I couldn't comprehend having conversations with otherwise. And I want to see if it's possible. I want to see what I can do. If I was able to start 2 food trucks and a clothing line, what is possible from here? What is possible for Try Vegan? What is possible for Forever Farms? What is possible for Catching Up with Vince? And this is just the beginning. So you guys can literally be watching someone come up before your eyes if you catch this now. I don't know where 2018 is going to go, but I know I'm not going to be in the same spot a year from now. And I'm really excited to have you guys along for the ride. I'm really excited to see if anyone listens to this. I'm really excited to see if I can get some good guests. I'm really excited to see where Try Vegan goes. In the app, I plan on having a YouTube channel with 5 different shows. I want Try Vegan to be as big as it can possibly get. I want people who aren't vegan yet to check out Try Vegan, download our app, listen to the podcasts, watch our videos, watch our cooking show. We're going to have a yoga class. We're going to have another cooking show. And we're going to have a doctor's corner. And we're going to have the Try Vegan food truck experience. That's going to be crazy. I'm going to use a 360 camera so that when the technology gets there, you are able to experience what life is on the truck in virtual reality. This is thinking 4 or 5 years ahead because I'm going to have all these files saved. So eventually, once technology catches up and these things are more accessible and more editable, you're going to be able to see what this year was like. You know, if I do achieve the success that I dream of, you will be able to be alongside for the ride. And through that, you will see how easy it is, how normal I am, how I'm nobody special. I'm an idiot who forgets his wallet every time he leaves the house. You know, I forget stupid things. My mom yells at me for not doing my laundry enough. I still live at home. So I guess that's a brief overview of where I'm at. So I hope you guys enjoyed this first one. It came out to be a little longer than I anticipated, but thanks for sitting alongside the ride here. Look forward to talking to you guys again. Peace.
Hey, if you want to catch up with Vince on your own, then you need to visit catchingupwithvince.com.